Alright, here we go. So, test number one. So, in this video, I will be explaining to you the quote-unquote tips and troubleshooting for if your weed eater, like if you don't know how to fix your weed eater. I will explain, if your weed eater doesn't work, I will explain everything that could go wrong with your engine. The three things I will show you, well, first, I would explain the fundamentals of how a two-stroke works. A two-stroke needs it runs off of three key terms: fuel, ignition, like the spark, and compression. Those are the three things that an engine needs to run. And yeah. So I will be showing you how to troubleshoot all three of those things: fuel, ignition, and compression. And they will be three separate videos, so be sure to watch the other two after the fuel, which I'm going to do now. This first video is the fuel part. So there's a lot of things that there's a lot of troubleshooting for fuel. So the first thing that, if you don't, you can troubleshoot. First thing you would want to do, if you just want to start from square one, just go all through the whole, all the engine, all the basic fundamentals. First, if your engine just doesn't start, you would want to take a look and check your spark plug to see if there's, well, not ignition first. Well, the carb, you can see the start with fuel. The carb, well, actually start with the, let's go with the, all right here. So, line right here, just your air filter. You want to take it off and everything and look inside of there and make sure that mine's kind of barely get off. Yeah, I might be able to, yeah, you take that out. So this is my filter right here. You can see it's kind of, on this side it's, it's pretty clean, but on this side it's pretty, it's got a lot of, I wouldn't say carbon buildup, but it's just got a lot of stuff in there, some stuff that the engine needs to have it all, it needs to be clean. So you want to, what I do with cleaning air filters is, if you have a solvent tank, take it, like, you've got your paint thinner and all that stuff, in the solvent, and you just kind of take the solvent and kind of soak it in the solvent for a little bit. You don't want to soak it too long or else it'll kind of damage it, so just kind of rinse it off, or something like that, and and once you've got it all, soaked off and everything, kind of squeeze it out. Do that back and forth, just squeeze it with when it soaks up for solvent, squeeze it out, squeeze the solvent all out, and then soak it up again, squeeze it and all that. And then once it's taken a lot, it's good. That's going to take the majority of it out. And then what you do is get an air compressor. Go ahead and get all the solvent out of there, blow all the solvent out of there, and it'll help blow out the rest of the stuff inside the air filters. So once you got that all clean, go ahead and put it back. Go ahead and snap that back in there. And once your cover's on, that was dirty. I mean, if it wasn't, then there you go. But next thing is I don't know. Mine doesn't have one. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they don't. But there is a right there. One second. Alright, so you can see right around right there, there's in between the carb and the air filter cover that butts up the screws onto the carb. Mine doesn't have a gasket. It didn't come with one when I got it from. It didn't work, so I got it, and it didn't come with a gasket. You want to make sure if it does, check the gasket. If it's pretty crusty and it's really brittle and crusty, then you want to replace it. But if it's nice and soft and you can bend it without breaking it, then it's good. It's still good. Same for the gasket in between the intake manifold and the carb. You want to make sure there's definitely a gasket between there. Same. If that's crusty, brittle, make sure you change that. If not, you're good. You're golden. So next is the carb. Carb is the hardest thing to do. So, well, I wouldn't say it's kind of difficult. If you've done this before, it's not too hard. But the only hard part about getting the carb cleaned out is just you got to be careful with all the screens inside of it, and especially the diaphragm. They're pretty delicate stuff. So. What you do, you just take out start taking off the filter. I finally got that off. And then in between your filter, there should be some, that's depending on, holding it on screws, nuts, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go get that. Looks like a 10 millimeters.
So you can see that Josh McDaniels is throwing out all sorts of combinations of personnel groupings and formations in order to try to confuse the Seattle defense.
Watching the Super listen to the Super Bowl too. Just started, so yeah, just go ahead and loosen those up.
Just bouncing around there, making a play at the line of scrimmage. And this is where Gronkowski becomes a huge target.
It's third down and 6 for Brady at the 10-yard line of Seattle. Never got front by the range, 4 wide. They look for the Bengals Seahawks. Arms outstretched. He gets the snap. He goes right. He throws a line drive. It's intercepted. And the goal line was picked off by Seattle.
Now, once you get either your screws or your nuts on, you want to make sure if there is a gasket between your carb and your air filter. If there is, you really don't want to rip that out, or else if there is a gasket, because it'll if it's stuck, you could ruin it. If it does get stuck, you can just either there is gasket remover spray that you can spray on that, or if you don't have that, you've got carb cleaner. You can spray some of that on there, let it sit just for a few minutes, and then you just get a flathead screwdriver and just kind of pry it open, and it should come out, and it should be unstuck, and you won't ruin those gaskets. And so here's the card. You take the card. Make sure you take your gas lines out.
What a shame, what a shame.
Gas lines out.
You know, this was a play where he was just floating in his zone. For some reason, Tom Brady just threw it up as he gets hit by Bennett in the backfield. It's just a colossal mistake.
And if your gas lines, you want to make sure also, if while you're taking this out, if the fuel lines are like hard and they're like they're real hard, and if you can bend them and snap them, just clean in half, just crusting them all. If it's really hard and you just break it in half, they're done. Get new ones. Replace the fuel lines. If there's just any air leaks, then you'd want to replace those too. You can check for air leaks by pumping the primer bulb and checking to see if it sprays some soap on there, you know, soapy water and stuff, and you can pump it and you can see either bubbles or the fuel coming out of it, and that'll tell you if there's a hole. Then you want to replace those. If not, they're fine. If they're still squishy, and if you can bend them without snapping them, then that's good. Yeah, those are good. So just kind of slide it out. Again, if there's a gasket like there is right here, sticks, spray some carb cleaner on there or some gasket remover. It'll come right off. Mine's fairly good. If you do break your gasket on accident, or if you do it because you just don't feel like waiting, you can get some gasket material. You can get in rolls. What I use is I use fiber gaskets. They're real good for all these two-strokes. I use fiber gasket, except the exhaust. Obviously, you need some exhaust gasket material at your local auto parts store. So once you get that, see, like right now, I've still got fuel in there. So make sure you take your carb and get it all. You take all the fuel out of it. I just do is I just open the. Just open this up and just kind of get all that. Just dump it all in here. It's all empty, so let's screw this back on.
Under center, moving left to right. Goes against the stand, hands off the wrist, on top of the left hand, leaves it, he looks for you, that goes his way, spins past the 25, and inside the numbers around the 26. Looked like he was going to be stopped. He picks up 4 on the play, and a terrific start to this big game, especially by the Seahawks.
So, got this all done. So, as you can see, there are 2 Phillips. Take these out, all that's under here. So under here is the Phillips. Oh, so I'll take this part too. So. So I just take right here 2 Phillips.
In the secondary for the Patriots. And no time remains on the first quarter clock. Big play, a interception by Seattle on a driving New England offense. An interception by Lane on the throw by Tom Brady.
You saw right there exactly what the Patriot defense has got to do. They cannot let Russell Wilson run around all over the field and make first downs.
That's the end of the first quarter and a scoreless first quarter. You're listening to Super Bowl 49 on Westwood One.
And once you get those out, this comes out like that. In the primer bulb, there's a little metal tab that holds the primer bulb in, and there's the top. And see, when you take those screws out, it holds the top part of it onto the top part right above, right under the primer bulb. This whole entire part comes off right here. Want to make sure you be careful, especially if the carb's stuck and like the part that the gaskets are stuck together. You really want to be careful because it's kind of hard to some weed eaters. This is a it's a lot of this is a lot of people kind of have this. I've seen them a lot on YouTube. The Home Light Bandit SX135. It's pretty common. I've seen them a lot in repair videos, and I've seen them. You can buy the diaphragm kits, the whole carb rebuild kits and stuff. I think it would be easy to find one of those for one of those engines, but try not to, because sometimes you might not be able to find one, and it's just a pain. You might be able to have to buy a new carb that's got everything built onto it, so it's a lot more expensive. So try to keep those gaskets. So take those off. Try to keep the gaskets in the same order. On this one, there's two. There's a filter gasket, and then there's a fiber gasket underneath, layered together on the top piece, right there. So want to keep those together. This part is fairly clean. Fairly clean up here. So on most engines, because there's really no all that's coming up through here is fuel. There's really no air. So all the air ports are the ones that are mostly dirty, because that's where all the particles come in and dust in the air. That's where all the air inlets. As you can see, there is a lot of where's my flashlight go?
That's why he's earning his degree at University of Phoenix and has partnered with his school to create the full tuition focus to the Finnish scholarship program.
There is a lot of well, I'll go get it, but there's a lot of this is the major air inlet right there. That's where the air comes in, all of it. That's where all of it starts. I can see there's actually a lot of buildup. It's practically clogging it. So I'll go get the carb cleaner, and what you want to do is just kind of do a couple sprays around. Open this up and open your butterfly valve up. Open it up all the way. Spray inside there. Make sure this is also open to your carb. Your choke is open, so you can get all inside there and get all. Make sure you put a decent amount in there. And then under here is your diaphragm.
Russell Wilson, arms outstretched from his 26, belt high long snap. He now is rushed. He backpedals. He moves to his left. He cocks his arm. He's outside the hedge part. He moves to his right. He goes the other way now. He breaks the tackle. He throws a pass down the middle of his incomplete midfield.
Try not to drop them too. It'll help a little bit.
No place to run. No place to hide. He throws it away, and a second consecutive punt in 2 possessions for the defending Super Bowl champs.
Russell was really struggling. This actually looks like the same guy that we saw at the beginning of the Green Bay Packers game 2 weeks ago. So you gotta wonder where his confidence is right now in the passing game. And the New England defense doing a very good job confusing the quarterback down the field.
John Ryan's going to punt from our right to our left.
I gotta go get my flashlight.
Good long snap, and there was the right-footed punt. It goes up over the head. It goes down the near side numbers. Edelman gets the ball, shoots it against his chest at the 33, puts it down, runs along the 35. It's going to stop inside the numbers on the natural grass here in Glendale. And he's out for a return of about 3 on a punt of 40 yards. We have no score. 13:57 to play in the second quarter. This is Western One's coverage of Super Bowl 49.
Don't get stuck in the cold and dark with that snow, ice, or windstorm comes blazing through. Call G&G to find out how you can make sure your family stays warm. They offer green home generators which run on natural gas and propane and link in with your existing heating system to power your entire home. Call G&G.
Here's your basic carb choke cleaner right there. That's what I use. Gum out. It's pretty good stuff.
specialties include hand, spine, neurosurgery, foot and ankle, sports medicine, occupational medicine, total joint replacement, non-surgical pain management, along with physical therapy, diagnostic imaging.
I honestly do not know where my flashlight. Oh, there it is. Actually, I didn't see it. There it is.
Continuum of care. Learn more about how Olympia Orthopedic Associates can get your life in motion at onlyortho.com or facebook.com/OlympiaOrtho.
We're in the final lap of the J&H Auto Service 500 tonight. Flag is up and coming into the straightaway, and surprise of the day, Minivan Mom. Yes, it is Qualar. Minivan Mom is going into the lead now. It's neck and neck. The checker flag is up. Minivan Mom is first across the line. Minivan Mom, what's your secret?
I take my man at J&H Auto Service.
J&H Auto Service keeps your vehicle running like new. Fast,
Oh,
sturdy,
there it is.
dependable service you can trust. No matter what maker of home, J&H Auto
Finally got it.
Service.
Hopefully I didn't want to spend this whole entire video trying to find it. Yeah, make sure you don't drop that stuff. But, here, since I got the flashlight now, as you can see, here. Try to put it here. So,
Professional.
come on, focus in.
In a word,
You are absolutely stupid. Come on.
Heritage Bank, the quality bank, member FDIC.
There is a lot.
The Hawks on 96.9
Come on.
Olympia Orthopedic Associates.
It's trying to.
In motion and
But, anyway.
Basically, what's going to happen is they're going to look at how it is the Seattle Seahawks are defending them and then try to get the football to, because they haven't doubled him at all.
There is a lot of stuff in there. It's all,
325 pounds.
you see that the biggest hole right there, it's all gunked up. You can really tell. It should just be a small screen in there. If you can't see the screen, you need to clean it. So all I do is go ahead and take a card cleaner and just kind of a couple sprays on that side. Kind of just spray it around the whole. If you want to, you can kind of just give it a couple sprays around everything, the whole carb, just to clean out the rest of the carb, get all the grease and oil and engine debris off there. Kind of helps out. And if you sprayed the carb gasket too, the one that butts up to the manifold, it'll kind of help it'll prevent it from sticking the next time you try to take it apart. So that always helps too. We'll take the diaphragm.
First and 10, here's a quick cross. Fly outside the 40-yard line by quarterback Tom Brady for wide receiver Brandon LaFell. It is incomplete from the 48 of Seattle. Now second down and 10. Thurl Simon making the play. Jeremy Lee is out with the broken arm.
So once you got that off, make sure. Surprisingly, mine's pretty easy to take apart. So that's the diaphragm right there. To check, there's only really a couple things that some things that show up as you need to change your diaphragm. When you take it off, if you see the middle, if you take that, and here, I'll take my gloves off really quick. Yeah, I really can't take off my diaphragm right now. But if you do get a chance to get your diaphragm off and don't destroy it, hold the outsides with with one hand, and then go on the inside and both fingers on the outside and wiggle the middle. And if it seems to be really hard, if it's really hard to move, and it's kind of, if you rub it with your fingers and if it frays, then you should replace it. If it doesn't fray when you rub it and when you move it, and if it's nice and there's no resistance, that means it's still good. And when you take this off, there is I really want to take this off, but I can't right now. Anyway, if you get this off, there is a small jet And sometimes if your so this is all with the fuel. This is all if there's no fuel coming to the car. If there's no fuel coming into the engine. This is all what I'm talking about. So if none of what I said was causing the problem, which I guess the part where the screen was all clogged up, that could be a major reason too. But if there's another reason, sometimes there's a really small jet, and what the diaphragm does is when it goes back and forth, when it comes up and down, there's a arm that gets pushed, and there's a little tiny metal jet that moves up and down like 1/8 of an inch, maybe less, and a 1/16 of an inch. It doesn't move up and down very far. But if that's not moving, if that's stuck in there, that means when the engine's compressing, the diaphragm, when it tries to move the arm, the jet's stuck, so it won't move. So all you have to do, there's one screw that holds the whole arm in place, that holds the jet in. Just unscrew that screw. Make sure you gotta hold that down. Hold the arm down when you take the screw out, because there's a spring under there that springs it up every time it pushes down. So that doesn't spring out and you lose it because it's really small. But if once you get that out and everything, if the jet is stuck, pull the jet out, spray some carb, get a nice amount of carb cleaner in there, and then let it sit, and then spray it all out, and it should smoothen up the carb. And there's probably just some sticky gunk in there that got hardened over time, and it just froze it in there. Say water. If water was in there and it froze in there, that could be a reason. But if not, if there's just something else in there, engine deposit that it needs to take out, then just spray carb cleaner in there. And then assemble it all back together. And if you can move it with your finger, then the arm, when it's all connected, diaphragm on everything, if you can push the diaphragm or the arm, and you can see that the jet moves, then you're good to go. So put the diaphragm back on, and then you go ahead and put your cover back on.
It's been methodical. It's been hard. It's not been easy. But certainly, it seems as if they actually understand how they can beat this Seattle defense.
Brady and the gun from the 11 Seattle, second down and 9, and go to the drive. Shotgun snap, big save up, quick line drive from inside, and it's back to the middle, gets it to the goal line, and a touchdown to the foul. Splitting the defense in the secondaries. It's an 11-yard touchdown throw, and the Patriots have scored first in Super Bowl 49. They beat Bill Simon, the guy taking the place of the injured Jeremy Lane.
This has been a tough series for Bill Simon, the backup cornerback. He's in there covering LaBelle. LaBelle just runs an easy slide pattern. And I mean, it's just too easy. A perfectly fought ball by Tom Brady.
Try to evenly screw in the screws before you actually tighten them down, so it just helps with the displacement of the torque. But make sure it's fairly tight, not too tight, because you do need that seal, that real good seal, so there's no air leaks. So now, I sprayed carb cleaner in here, and all that gunk on that screen is pretty much, I didn't even spray it in there, and it took a lot of it out. So all I need to do is go ahead and spray it out, and it should be good to go.
Introducing Price Advisor, the powerful new tool that shows you what you should spend. It gives you a fair purchase price that's based on what others bring in the same car. So visit the trusted resource today. KBB.com.
Just enter the card number on the tax return.
And when you spray it out, hopefully this will actually kind of go out now. This will kind of. But anyway, right there, it's pretty. It's a lot better. Practically everything's out. Just the screen is there. But when you spray it out, make sure that you, when you spray in the screen, try not to spray too close, as it can, and too much air at the same time, too close, as it can break the screen. So you don't want to do this. Just kind of lightly do it away, like, you know, at least 2 inches away from the carb, and just do a little bit of air, not too much. So, because it doesn't take a lot of air for, if you put some carb cleaner, it doesn't take a lot of air to get all that stuff out of there. So try not to put too much air when you're cleaning it out. But once you got that out, and if you cleaned it out, good. So once that's all cleaned out, go ahead and put the top back on, the top part of the car back on. Make sure the gaskets, the 2 gaskets underneath are the same, with the same. If they're swapped, then the carb won't work right. So make sure those 2 gaskets are layered the correct way when you took it out. And when you spin it, all I know is most weed eaters, the carb, that you know that's the right way when obviously you can see that the idle screw meets up with the butterfly valve. So that shouldn't be a problem with which way it goes, which spinning it and everything. So once you get that on, make sure you put the pyro back on right, so the holes evenly line up. Even if it's just a little bit off, if you spin it around, and if it's better, the hole alignment's better on these 2 holes, then screw it in that way, because you probably screwed it in the wrong way. Even though there's just a little bit, if you spin it like right now this way, it's the holes are lined up perfectly. But if you spin it this way, the holes are just a little bit out of line. So with the holes directly in line, you want to screw it in those. Screw it in that way. So as you can have some air leaks if you don't screw it in that way.
It's time to ask the pros, where we ask our analysts a question submitted by one of our listeners, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Sign up to be an Old Rewards member today and start earning instantly. $5.
And then kind of mildly tighten these also. Not too soft and not too much. If you screw it in a little too hard, sometimes it'll have a hard time when you press the primer bulb. It'll kind of block the air coming in and fuel pushing out. So if it's too much, kind of let off the screws just a little bit. But if you don't, and if you squish the primer bulb, if you put it up to your ear, you can hear the leak. So make sure there's no leak, and you can push the primer bulb nice and easy. So once that's all cleaned out, set it to the side. And the last thing for the fuel, because we already covered the fuel lines, and the tank, pretty much there's really nothing that could go wrong with the tank. Obviously, if you have a hole in it, gas will come out of the tank. There's really nothing. I've heard some people say that if there's a hole in the gas tank, like on the top, it will cause the fuel not to be sucked up, and that is false. The only problem that would cause the fuel not to come up through the lines is if there's any leaks, is the fuel lines. The only way that there will be no, like if the carb sucks up fine, the carb sucks up gas. The only way that it would leak is the fuel lines. The tank has nothing to do with it. So just making sure you knew that. Now, so the intake manifold is the plastic right here, right? That goes directly to the cylinder. And when you take this out, there's also a very large gasket. Also, if it gets stuck, make sure you spray some gasket remover or carb cleaner to let it sit to get that out. I guess for me it's kind of easy. Sometimes, like right now for me, the back shroud is covering over, the gasket is large enough, it goes inside the shroud, and so you have to pull the shroud out to get the gasket all the way out. I might be able to pull it all the way out, I'm not sure.
It's amazing how poorly the Seattle pass offense has been thus far today.
I can pull it out. I got it pulled out. As you can see, this gasket is like right here. You can see the print. You can see that manifold print, like on the. You can see the prints from the cylinder. It's pretty much good right there, but on the outside, it's really. If I rub it, it just falls off. Honestly, it's just really bad. If it's like that, I'm probably gonna just make my own new gasket, like I said, with the fiber. The fiber gasket material comes in rolls. I wouldn't use a thickness no more than an 1/8 inch. Anything bigger than that's a little too thick. That'll work also if you just wanna, if you don't want to buy it, because it's also a lot cheaper. The rolls will just save you a lot more than the ones that are already pre-cut. And plus, if you can't find a gasket that'll work for this pre-made, then you can always make your own. If you still have, this and it's all, if it's still intact, you can take it and use this as a template to make your other one. So I'm probably gonna make my own gasket because it's pretty bad. So once that's off, for me, see, it's pretty stuck on the manifold. It came off on the cylinder, but it's kind of stuck on the manifold. Sometimes if you wiggle it a little bit, it'll kind of come right off. See, I got it off right there. It's kind of stuck. But you want to make sure that it's, you don't ruin it again. So.
Getting engaged is a big step, and that's why Jared the Galleria of Jewelry offers you a lifetime commitment. You can choose from up to 10,000 loose diamonds to create her one-of-a-kind ring. Plus, Jared will match any price on like diamonds from any other jewelry store. Then we'll back it up with a Jared Perfect Bridal Plan, free ring sizing, free diamond setting, and a lifetime diamond guarantee. It's all part of our commitment to you, and that's why you went to Jared. Find a Jared store. Visit Jared.com.
If you want to, you can take some. Do it lightly. You can just kind of put a little bit of solvent inside and on the outside of the intake manifold. Don't soak it, or else it'll ruin it. You can just kind of rinse it off a little bit and then brush it out, and then dry it off fast as you can, and it won't ruin the intake manifold, especially if it's plastic, which pretty much all weed eaters are plastic. But you can clean it out like that. That's how I do it. Man, I'm dropping everything. But yeah, clean that out and everything. And the last thing for the fuel section is the ports on the cylinder for the fuel. So,
I would certainly be in the ear of the offensive coordinator. Hey, we got the fourth corner in there.
So the only thing that would be for the manifold is to look in the cylinder is there's really I really you really don't find carbon buildup in the intake port. Sometimes you do, but it's very little. If you do, clean that out anyway. It'll really help with the anatomization. And right now, mine's fairly clean. It's really got nothing around it. It's all. There's no really big chips or scratches inside of. If you want to help with the performance of your weed eater, if you want to, you can kind of take a Dremel, and if you've got a very thin grain, not coarse. You don't want coarse. You want really a really thin grain grinding bit. You can kind of take in there, or some rough sandpaper, and you can hand do it. But you can take your finger and or your Dremel, and you can scrub just the bottom part of the intake port, and that helps when it roughens the metal. It helps with the fuel anatomization to create the to really help with the optimal air-fuel mixture before it gets combusted and compressed, which will help with more burning of your fuel. So you have better fuel economy, which on a weed eater it really doesn't matter, but you'll save more anyway and have a little bit more power. But if you want to, while the intake manifold's out, look at the piston, pull it all the way up and then back down. Look on the wall when you can see the piston. Check to see if there's any scratches or anything. I see none. Really don't see any scratches. Any big scratches. If you see a really tiny scratch, it's not a big deal. But if the scratch is pretty deep, like a 1/16 inch, doesn't take much. You want to look at it because the scratches on the piston and the piston rings, can damage your cylinder wall and affect with your compression, which I'll talk about in my third video. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Sorry for the long video. It's my first time doing a video. It's been a while. So like, comment, and subscribe.